The mention of the ceremonial solid silver side drums. You might like to know the history of them, why they're so heavy. We had a dummy run with Druin and Druin, which is a Queensland firm of drum makers. We had to go to Queensland because at the time the government was having the Labor government was having a terrible time with unemployment, and they lent on the Navy to have the drums made locally and specifically in Queensland. Now, it was quite convenient for Druin and Druin to do it because they were in the area. We had a dummy run. The copy was the Canadian 50 anniversary silver drums which were presented to the Canadian Navy by their government. And when we tightened the ropes, the silver shell was too thin and it collapsed. So at this stage, I thought, well, it was 22 gauge. We decided, I decided that perhaps twice as thick would do the job.
It was your fault.
Yeah. You haven't heard anything yet. Also at this stage, instead of having wooden rims and ropes and things, I thought, let's go for the lot. So we had solid silver rims, and to overcome the rope tension, we went to
silver rods,
which was solid silver. And the fact that I said I thought that at least twice the thickness would do it, I went from 22 gauge to 10 gauge. And 10 gauge had to be 4 times the weight of 22 gauge. So it wasn't until the things were made, the government paid for it, the first of the drummers picked it up that we realised that
she was a hernia
10
job.
gauge was 4 times the weight of the 22 gauge. That's that. While I'm on the drums, when I went to Adelaide, we had to, I was fortunate enough to hit it at a very, very convenient time when Commonwealth money was being pumped into the universities around Australia. This was in '70 when Whitlam came into power. And but you had to be doing a degree at the university to get the grant. Now, at the time in Adelaide, they were teaching anybody from the age of 14 upwards at the diploma level. And they had an orchestra of 60, which used to practice Saturday mornings. And it was very convenient to suggest them, if they wanted the Commonwealth vote, and they were not allowed to train other than at the degree level, that I would be delighted to have them as my pupil. So when you start School of Music, the main thing is to have somewhere for your trainees to go. Well, as I say, I was very convenient. I had a ready-made symphony orchestra of 70 to start the School of Music for the Adelaide Education Department. That was quite a success, but we had to get instruments, and some of the instruments were very expensive, with the timpanis. Now, the deal about the timpani was that they said, now, when you come to South Australia, it's a state dollar. It's not like it is in the Commonwealth. Like when you're in the Navy, you can get anything you like. You can get as much money as you like to spend. That's what they thought. But the state dollar at the time with Donnie Dunstan, we all know Donnie Dunstan,
yeah.
was in the films, music, art, the lot. But we had to get some timpanis, at the end of the first year, I had something like 20 of the Adelaide Symphony Orchestra as part-time instructors, and one of the instructors was a fellow called Dick Smith, who was probably one of the best percussionists we've ever had in Australia. And he was, they thought so much of him in the ABC that he used to do all their auditions for them whenever they wanted a percussionist. So, knowing the Navy set up that if you want one, you've got to ask for two, I asked for 2 sets of timpani. And after about 3 months, in came the request of how many's in a set. And the Navy at the stage was 2. I don't know what the Symphony Orchestra was, but I rang Dick Smith up and I said, well, how many can you put in a set of timpani? Because they had agreed to issuing us with a set of timpani. He said, well, if we get down to the 19-inch one, we can make it 5 in a set of timpani. So, in November, 5 timpani arrived, copper, pedals, tuned pedal, marvellously. And when I came back off leave, 6 weeks leave, four weeks of which is 17.5% more because you're not working. A fellow from the Department of Supply said, well, where do you want your second set of timpanis? So now I've got 10 timpanis. And you said, so came June that year, the fellow said, now, you do still want your 2 sets of timpani, don't you? I said, no, but he said, well look, I said, I've got enough really. And he said, well, it's going to embarrass me because I've put the order in already. So I said, chop it down to 1. So, 8 months after that, another set of timpani. 15 timpani. And money was so hard to get that we had to build a separate hut to keep the timpani, which was only 5 of which was only used. Now, the word spread, and after a while, every visiting symphony orchestra, including the Russian Symphony Orchestra, used to say, well, we won't bring our tips because it's out of Australia. So, however, that's the background of not high tech, it's low tech, and how you can get the dollar in the state is really important. Now, once again, I think we're all very, very lucky. As I say, some of us are talented, but we've still got something up here, and we've re-elected one of the finest committees I've ever worked with. Yeah. And I don't think you'll get a more experienced secretary than Jim Hawkins. Sorry I've elongated the business, but thanks very much for your time.